Okay, so you want to get the essence of a place fast without wading through tons of information, right? That's what we do here. Today, our deep dive is into Belarus. The travel guide we looked at calls it Europe's overlooked treasure. An undiscovered country, basically.
Yeah, definitely sounds intriguing.
So we're going to pull out the highlights, the landscapes, the architecture, which is this mix of Soviet-era stuff and much older buildings, and the traditions, too. Think of it as, well, the shortcut to understanding what makes Belarus interesting, even if you're not planning a trip right now.
Right. And Minsk, the capital, is a good starting point. The guide paints it as this surprising city. You've got these really grand, monumental places like Independence Avenue, Victory Square, but then also the buzz of areas like Oktyabrskaya Street. It's quite a contrast.
That contrast sounds like it tells a story in itself.
Exactly. And the guide points to the Great Patriotic War Museum, that's their term for World War II's Eastern Front, as a really key cultural spot. It anchors you in that significant and often difficult history.
Right. And beyond the capital, the guide highlights Mir Castle and Nesvy's Palace, UNESCO sites, both of them.
Yeah, major historical landmarks.
Mir Castle sounds fascinating, not just one style, but Gothic, Baroque, and Renaissance all mashed together.
It really shows the layers of history, doesn't it? Different powers, different influences over centuries.
And Nesvy's Palace.
That one's more about the setting a big park linked to the Radziwiłł family, who are, major players in the region. It speaks to that aristocratic past, its ties to the rest of Europe.
Okay, so history is definitely a big part. But switching gears a bit, the guide talks a lot about nature. Belarus is surprisingly green.
Very green. Over 40% forest cover, apparently.
Wow.
And the star attraction is Belovetskaya Pushcha National Park, another UNESCO site. It's one of the last bits of truly primeval forest left in Europe.
Primeval forest. So we're talking ancient trees, right?
Yeah.
And wildlife.
Exactly. Ancient oaks and famously the European bison, they roam wild there. It really challenges the image some might have of the region.
Yeah, it does. Bison. That's impressive.
And here's a quirky detail from the guide within that ancient forest. There's an estate for Dead Moroz.
Dead Moroz, like they're Santa Claus.
Sort of, yeah, the Slavic equivalent.
Yeah.
So you get this blend of deep nature and folklore.
Huh, interesting. Any other natural highlights?
The Breslau Lakes region gets a mention too. Lots of lakes, obviously. Good for things like kayaking, fishing, just being outdoors.
So how does all this nature and history feed into the culture today?
Well, the guide describes a culture that's rich in folklore, music,
Yeah.
and shaped by this mix of religious traditions, Eastern Orthodox, Catholic, plus the whole Soviet legacy, of course.
And are traditions still alive? Festivals and things?
Apparently so.
Yeah.
Seasonal festivals, traditional dress, music, the guide suggests these are still quite vibrant.
And local crafts? Anything specific?
Yeah, you mentioned linen textiles.
Yeah.
Belarus is known for its flax, also hand-carved wooden toys and intricate straw weaving. Things made from the land, really.
Okay, useful to know. Let's talk practical details for someone whose curiosity is piqued. Currency, language.
Currency is the Belarusian ruble. Language-wise, both Belarusian and Russian are official, but the guide notes Russian is much more commonly spoken day to day.
Good to know. Best time to potentially visit.
Seems like May to September is prime time for weather and festivals. December, if you want the snowy Dead Moroz kind of experience, I suppose.
Right. And visas. Always a big question.
Ah, yes. This was a key point in the guide. For many nationalities, there's visa-free entry for up to 30 days if you fly in and out of Minsk Airport.
Oh, really? That's huge. That makes it suddenly feel much more accessible.
Definitely. It removes a pretty significant barrier for casual visitors or those just curious.
And getting around inside the country.
Trains and buses are the way to go, according to the guide. Reliable and budget-friendly.
Okay, so wrapping up, the picture we get is of a place offering maybe a more authentic experience. History, nature, but off the main tourist track.
Yeah, that seems to be the core message. Authenticity, history, and a significant natural element that might surprise people.
It leaves you wondering, doesn't it? Given its location, sandwiched where it is, and its complex history, what other hidden stories might Belarus hold? Something to think about.
Indeed. How will that blend of nature and historical weight shape its identity going forward?
A good question for reflection. For now, though, we'll leave you with the traditional Belarusian welcome. Orgy and Miosulio.